Could you really turn a few $100s a month into $1 million crypto portfolio? Or is that just the internet's favorite fairy tale designed to separate you from your rent money? Let's actually do the math, because the answer is more complicated and more interesting than either the hype machine or the cynics want you to believe. We are living in a moment where Bitcoin has already minted its millionaires. Ethereum rewrote the rules of digital ownership, and a coin named after a dog somehow made people genuinely wealthy. And yet here we are, still asking whether the window is open or nailed shut. The stakes are real. Global crypto market capitalization has swung between $1 trillion and nearly $3 trillion in just the last few years, which means the volatility alone could either build your future or erase your optimism in a single weekend. The catalyst behind this whole conversation is what economists call asymmetric return potential. A fancy way of saying a small bet can occasionally produce a disproportionately large outcome, like buying a lottery ticket, except the odds are slightly better and you actually understand the underlying asset. Think of it like planting seeds in soil that might be fertile or might be concrete. You genuinely cannot know until something either grows or doesn't. Back in 2021, your coworker was quitting their job to trade altcoins full-time. Influencers were calling $50,000 Bitcoin the new floor, and every other headline read like a press release from the future. Fast forward through the crypto winter of 2022, and suddenly those same voices went very, very quiet, which tells you something important about conviction versus strategy. Psychologically, this market is a masterclass in how humans handle uncertainty, because when prices rise, we feel like geniuses, and when they fall, we feel like frauds, neither of which is an accurate self-assessment. Howard Marks would call this the illusion of knowledge. And the most dangerous investor in the room is usually the one who stopped questioning themselves sometime around their third consecutive green week. History shows us that Bitcoin alone has gone through at least 4 major boom and bust cycles since its inception, each one more dramatic than the last, and each one followed by a new all-time high that made the previous peak look modest. The pattern is consistent enough to study, but never consistent enough to perfectly time, which is both the lesson and the trap. Here's where crypto fits into the broader financial universe. It behaves like early-stage venture capital, wrapped in a 24/7 global casino with a side of monetary philosophy. Community veterans will tell you, and they are not entirely wrong, that dollar cost averaging into the top 2 or 3 assets over a 10-year horizon has historically rewarded patience more than it has rewarded brilliance. Now let's kill the biggest misconception, which is that you need to find the next 100x gem hiding in some obscure white paper to build real wealth through crypto. The boring truth that nobody makes YouTube thumbnails about is that systematic, monthly investing into established assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum, even modest amounts like $100 or $200, compounded over a decade at historical average returns, can produce outcomes that would shock your current self. Practically speaking, the playbook is not complicated. Pick 1 to 3 assets with real network effects and liquidity. Automate your monthly purchase so emotion never gets a vote, and set a position size you could genuinely stomach losing entirely without it affecting your actual life. The investors who survived every crash were not the smartest ones in the room. They were the ones who sized their positions like adults and refused to check the price at 2 in the morning. The irony worth savoring here is that the people who became crypto millionaires mostly did not do it through elaborate strategies. They did it by doing something boring and consistent, while everyone around them was either panicking or overtrading. Discipline, it turns out, is the rarest and most valuable asset in any market, and it costs absolutely nothing to acquire. Zoom out far enough, and crypto is just another chapter in the long, chaotic, deeply human story of people trying to store and grow value, from tulip bulbs to railroad stocks to .com IPOs to digital coins. The technology may be novel, but the underlying behavioral economics are ancient, and that context should simultaneously humble you and reassure you that this story is far from over. We are genuinely comfortable not knowing exactly where this goes, because the preparation, the process, the sizing, the consistency protects you regardless of the outcome. Whether crypto becomes the global reserve system or a fascinating historical footnote, A disciplined investor survives and often thrives in either world. The real question was never whether crypto could make you a millionaire. It already has, for thousands of people, repeatedly. The question is whether you will treat it like a thoughtful long-term strategy or like a slot machine, because the asset itself does not determine your outcome nearly as much as your behavior does. If you're ready to stop watching from the sidelines and start building a real strategy, whether that is in crypto, real estate, or anywhere in between, check out our links in the description below, where we can help you get started with real estate investing, home contracting work, and finding the right lenders to make your next move.